Welcome to the channel. QuasiGamo here with a Baldur's Gate 3 character build that I called the Party Phylactery. A character that is centralized around taking damage and healing the party to keep them alive. Alright, so first thing for this build is our stats. We're going to distribute our points we're going to start by maxing out our constitution, higher starting HP, and the reason why we're going to have 17 is because we're going to have a feat to increase it. On top of that, we're going to also want to increase our wisdom to a 16 by putting our bonus into it. Then for your additional points, you can kind of distribute them however you please, just putting a couple points into strength because we're going to be wearing heavy armor. For skill proficiencies, you can choose whatever background suits your character. For our stats, probably best off to get perception and insight. For our starting class, we're going to be choosing Druid, picking up the guidance and produce flame cantrips. Guidance is going to allow us to add 1d4 to our ability checks when we're in conversations or trying to pick locks. And produce flame is going to give us a range attack that also allows us to create light around us, which is useful in certain parts of the game. Now for our following levels, we're going to want to multi-class go into Cleric. For our domain, we're going to want to be choosing life domain. This is make it so that whenever we heal any creature, they will be getting an additional 2 plus the spell's level. So 3 additional HP from first level spell slots and going up from there. We're going to want to continue getting levels into Cleric, giving us Preserve Life, which acts as an AoE heal. Then at 4th level, you can pick up our first feat. We're going to want to pick up the Resilient, get a point into Constitution. This is going to bring our Constitution up to 18 while also giving us proficiency in Constitution saving throws, which will improve our concentration. Now at level 6, whenever we heal another creature, we'll also gain 2 HP plus the spell's level, which is additionally useful when we're doing AoE heals. Now at our 8th level Cleric, instead of getting an ability improvement, we're going to get another feat, and this time we're going to be picking up the Tough feat. This is to get an additional 2 HP for every single level, and that's because we're going to be needing a lot of HP. Now at 10th level Cleric, we'll be getting Divine Intervention to be able to call down our God's Aid and get 1 of 4 wishes, one of them allowing us to get a legendary weapon, which is perfect for this build. And with our final level of Cleric out of the way, this will give our character 135 HP at level 12 and a spell bar that should look something like this. And before we get into our gear, we should use Divine Intervention. Call in for our weapon, the Devotee's Mace. And with our gear, we get a total of 147 HP, starting with the Flawed Helldusk Helmet, which will give you a +2 to saving throws against spell effects, which won't be targeting you, but if you're in the area of one, it will help, on top of giving a +1 to Constitution saving throws. This can be gotten in Act 2, as long as you still have Daemon. If you find him in Act 2, he can make you this Helldusk Helmet if you bring him some Infernal Iron. Then we have the Vivacious Cloak, and what this is going to do, this has a fun little gimmick. Next we have the Adamantine Splint Armor, which is a heavy armor that you can get in Act 1 if you go down to the Grimforge. It's going to decrease all incoming damage by 2, and any enemies that attack you can't land any critical hits, on top of the fact that it gives us 18 AC. Next is the Gloves of Soul Catching, which are gotten in Act 3, fighting a very story-relevant character and looting their area. Mainly what these are doing for our character is giving us a +2 to Constitution, which is bringing our HP up from that 135 to 147. Other than that, you can really put any gloves in there that are going to give you benefit against saving throws or aid you against harmful effects. Then we have the Disintegrating Nightwalkers, which can be gotten midway through Act 1, also in the Grimforge area, by killing an enemy that you can get hired to get rid of, or you could pickpocket it off of them. an additional step that we can use every single short rest to reposition around the battlefield. As on top of that, it's going to make it so you can't slip on grease or ice, which would break your concentration. For our amulet, we're going with the Spellcrux amulet. This is because we can get a spell slot of any level all the way up to level 6. You can get amulet that is very similar to this in Act 1 by going to the Myconid colony and finding a Mind Flayer. And if you pickpocket him, you can find a necklace on him that will give you a minor version of what this amulet does. And you can get this amulet, I believe, late on in Act 2. In addition, you could also go with the Amulet of Restoration, which will give you casting of Healing Word and Mass Healing Word, and you can get this in Act Myconid colony. For our rings, we're going to want the Ring of Regeneration. This is because at the beginning of our turn, it's going to give us 1 to 4 hit points. Then for our other ring is just simply for the lightning damage resistance, which is also why we have the Darkfire shortbow, which is going to give our character fire and cold damage resistance. Now you're able to resist 3 different magical damage types, and one of them being an environmental damage type, I believe is also gotten in Act 2. For a shield, you can really have any shield. The Sentinel shield is the best for this. It's going to give you +3 to initiative rolls, making it so that be able to set up our spell combos more reliably. And I think you can get this at Moonrise Tower in Act 2. Last but not least, we have the Devotee's Mace. Mainly, it's going to give us this nifty healing incense aura, which is going to make it so for 10 turns, all allies within 30 feet regain 1 to 4 hit points at the start of our turn. With these items and the Resilient feat, we're able to get a +10 Constitution saving throws, meaning that we always succeed our saving throw against any damage that is less than 20. We pretty much always are going to be succeeding because Party Phylactery character won't really be able to be targeted due to Sanctuary, so they're only going to be taking residual damage, or if they get caught inside of something like a fireball. Alright. So, what does this build do? First things first, outside of combat, you're going to want to use all of your 2nd level spell slots to cast Warding Bomb. You're going to cast it on each party member that you have. Anytime any of your party members take damage, they're actually only going to take half damage from any sources, and any damage that they take, you're also going to be taking. Then with the 6th level spell slot, you're going to want to cast Aid, and this is going to give everybody 25 extra HP. We'll then use our necklace to get a spell slot back, and we'll want to use a few of our 1st level spell slots to cast Goodberry. Now we're ready for combat. And on the first turn of combat, what you're going to want to do is cast Beacon of Hope. This is going to create an aura where any healing that any of your allies get is going to be maximized. And on top of that, we're going to want to cast Sanctuary with one of our 1st level slots. And that's going to make it so we're basically not targetable. We act as a moving totem that gives maximum healing to our allies. And on the 2nd turn of combat, you should activate your Healing Incense aura. And what this is going to do is make it so everybody heals 4 HP every single time it's the start of your turn. And you heal an additional 8 extra HP. Every single turn, you're regenerating 19 HP. Now on any following turns, we can use our spell slots to cast Mass Cure Healing, which will allow us to heal every party member 27 + 7, 34 HP. And we get an additional 21 HP for healing each. So we got 55 health and each of them got 34 for a total of 157 healing. And on top of that, you can still cast Mass Healing Word for another AoE heal on the same turn, or you can go into your inventory and eat a Goodberry for 7 more HP. And any time that your party gets caught into something like a fireball, boom, they take all that damage. Instead, your main character will take a good brunt of it with the ability to heal it all back. Boom. Everybody completely maxed back out. Another cool trick that you can use in combat with this build is you can get nice and close to the enemies, and since they can't target you, it doesn't matter, you can run away from them afterwards or anything. Basically, you can run in, cast Cure Wounds on whoever at any level, and because you're in melee range, you get the 8 temporary HP from the cloak, and then you can run away and get right back into your safe distance where you're able to heal all your allies without having to worry about getting caught into your AoEs. This is a fun way to be able to mitigate the damage that your character will be taking over the course of the combat, because this character is going to be taking a whole lot of damage. You're able to heal a whole lot of HP, on top of the fact that you can spread around the good berries, so then everybody can be using those as bonus actions to heal on their own turns, or you can use those to heal on your own turn. Anyways, I hope you guys have all enjoyed this little build on the party Phylactery, where you're able to take damage for your entire party and keep them nice and topped up.